That's what I
Well,
was.
the Star Trek universe, that's a dystopia, and the people in the Federation are so clueless as to how awful they have it. At least we're talking the classic, the first 4 or 5 series. I haven't watched the latest stuff with the Picard and the Discovery or whatnot, but up until the year 2000 or so, I mean, the whole Star Trek Federation, that's a dystopia. These people are narcotized in that society. You don't have to have the fucking Star Wars stuff. Obviously, that's a dictatorship. I mean, and it's even less equality than Star Trek. But Star Trek, I mean, I wouldn't want to serve under Jean-Luc Picard. I wouldn't want to serve with William Riker. There's a great episode uh, of Star Trek where Picard gets captured by the Cardassians and gets tortured by them, and Riker has to deal with another captain played by the guy who was on Total Recall, whose name slips on it, Ronnie something or other, Ronnie Cox. And Ronnie Cox plays this really by the numbers captain, and it shows what a good captain could be like. Jean-Luc Picard is not a good leader. He's not a good captain. Uh, this Ronnie Cox was a much better captain. He could listen to his people, but he also knew when to discipline them. If I were the captain of the Star Trek, the Picard era Star Trek, I would have gotten rid of Riker long ago. I would have gotten rid of most of those lazy bastards. At least in the Kirk era, these people were living human beings. They lusted. Kirk, for all you want to say about Kirk, he knew when there was a good piece of ass going by, and he had to get some. Picard, that was too politically correct. And yeah, anyway.
I'm really shocked by that. I'm surprised. Well, I mean, I like the original series, and personally, it's not the best, but I'm a Deep Space Nine guy
Mhm.
myself. I thought DS9 had the most. I always thought that show had the most complex characters. Like
Yes,
some
it
of the.
does. The last 3 seasons or so with the Dominion War is probably the best of Star Trek. The problem though is the captain, what's his name, the black
Cisco.
Cisco, the actor Avery Brooks, over dramatic, melodramatic. The best ones was I interviewed one of the guys who's the Cardassians who played Damar. Did you see that one?
I did not. No, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Wow.
it's about 8 or 10 interviews from my current one. If you go by 270 stuff, the name of the fellow slips on, but a really interesting fellow. I interviewed him. The guy who played the Gul Dukat, great actor, and Andrew not Andrew Robinson was Garrick. I forget who played Gul Dukat, and this other guy Damar. Those were the three best actors, and those were the three best characters. The human characters in Deep Space Nine were dull as shit. Who gives a shit about Bashir? Who gives a shit about O'Brien? Who gives a shit about Cisco? I couldn't stand any of them. Actually, I thought after the first series, I thought Voyager actually had the best overall cast, though. And even though she was brought on just for sex appeal, I thought Jerry Ryan was very good. I thought Janeway was good. The Tuvok character was very good. Um, it had, I think, the deepest, and the doctor, the holographic doctor, played by Robert Picard, who was excellent. Um, uh, it it was Star Trek. It was the closest to the original Kirk Star Trek that we had. So if I were to rank, and I haven't seen the new Picard or the Discovery
No,
shows,
I do not watch the new stuff.
yeah,
It's so bad. The
but
guy, the
it
guy who's producing new Star Trek is the same guy who used to work on the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
yeah, and the showrunner of the Picard one is the guy who did Cavalier and Clay, Michael Chabon, which was a mediocre book at best. But uh, if I were to rank the Star Treks, the best one is obviously the original show. The second best one overall is the animated series, which used recycled scripts from the original show. That the second best live human one, I think, is Voyager, and then I think you could make it's a coin toss between Deep Space Nine and Next Generation as to number four. And the worst one that I watched was that Enterprise. That was atrocious.
It's funny because lots of my friends that are Star Trek fans are joking that remember when we thought Enterprise was bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the
Well, I
days.
saw I saw the first episode of that the Discovery Online with the black character who's Spock's half sister or adopted sister, whatever. And That was just bad. She's not a good actress, at least there. And I've seen some clips of it. The Picard show, I've seen a few clips of it. It's like, why must everything be made dark? It doesn't make it more dramatic to make characters dark. I see this in soap operas. I see this whenever they want to a great show from the 60s, The Prisoner. They remade it in 2012 or 2013 as a 5 or 6 episode miniseries. It was terrible. It was terrible. It had the guy who played Jesus Christ in The Passion of Christ, the guy who was in The Thin Red Line. I can't remember his name now. But anyway, making something dark doesn't make it deeper or better. It just makes it darker and more juvenile generally.
And they're sacrificing logic because there are scenes that make absolutely no sense that they want for attention. Like they have Romulan ninjas wearing motorcycle jackets and they're throwing knives, and then they're leaving the knives.
Yeah.
They're leaving a crime scene
Well,
there.
this is one of the problems with Hollywood too, is the whole thing about, the babe in heels. Yeah, because I really believe that Jerry Ryan in her cat suit in heels could beat the shit out of a 300-pound, Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something. Give me a break. Look, I remember when Ronda Rousey was in the UFCW a few years ago, and people were trying to argue that she could beat Floyd Mayweather, who was the welterweight, I think he was the welterweight or the middleweight champion of the world boxing world. I'm like, are you kidding me? Give me 1 month with a UFCW trainer, and I'll beat Ronda Rousey 99 times out of 100, even given that she's 20 years younger than me. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm taller. I'm stronger. I have a longer reach. Just give me the training and and proper nutrition for a month, and I'll destroy. And even without that proper training, if I had to fight Ronda Rousey in a street fight, not now, she's pregnant or whatnot, I think, but a few years ago when she was in top shape, I could probably still take her 4 times out of 10, even with her expertise in martial arts. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm bigger and I'm stronger. And I'm not in any way a great fighter, never been a great fighter, but I can hold my own against most people my size. But, anyway, we're getting off topic.